ended up having to bring this thing inside with it being in the 90s and 80% humidity. Actually, right now it is 91, 85% relative humidity. It's 71 in the house, 57. I could not work in the garage on this thing. I was constant sweat fountain, not even doing anything. So anyway, so we got the door's back together. Got the palm button on. Coin op works now. I just used a washer here and adjusted the lever on the switch. And most of the wiring is done. I've just got to, I'm waiting for the box for this light bulb, the 120 volt relay, delay relay thing, to mount it, and I'm going to rewire the the coin op switch. That little nick finally broke. The whole wire broke in half. That's going to get wired to here, and then in parallel to a free vent switch. So basically, normally it'll be coin vent. This will be open. If you flip it over the free vent, it'll close. It's the same as keeping this pressed. So the logic motor will always be in between the switches, ready for a button push. The only drawback to that is typically in coin vent mode, you have no power except on, I have the 12 volt system will be active. When this energizes the main relay, the light bulbs come on under here. So those will always be on if free vent is selected. That can be changed later. If we decide we don't want the bulbs to be on all the time, all I have to do is come in here, pull this connector out that I added, and wire in a couple of bullet connectors so we can just unplug the bulbs to keep them from staying on all the time. Because you don't want that, they'll get hot under here. Plus it wastes electricity. So, but let's take it for a quick spin. I got everything disconnected, but I should be able to hit these. Let's see, hit these wires together here. This one. Make sure I got, nope, I got the wrong one. I need this one. Hit these two together with one hand. If I can, there's not any wire exposed. Ah! Wire's pulling against me. There we go. Alright. So we're activated. It's in between. Palm switch lights are on, as you can see. And if we push the switch, rich and famous. And the coin op will do the same thing. Let's put a quarter in there. Good to go. Hey guys, it's been a long project. Actually, maybe not too long considering some of the other projects I've done. Been about a week. This is the second weekend that I've worked on this palm reader project, and everything's buttoned up. I'll get in contact with the owner and get it ready to get out of here so I can bring something else in and work on. So let me show you what I got. This is a Stanley cord. Will be my go-to from now on. If I can get it open, get the part number. Actually, does it even have a part number? 31939. Stanley polarized replacement cord. 3-prong. It's actually it's more of a rubber than the PVC that's stiff. It's got a good weight to it. The conductors are very nice. They're all stranded. This is a pretty heavy duty cord. Good for this kind of application. So let's plug it in. It's ready to go. Rich and famous, really. Let's try that again. I need a friend. Last one. Free Spirit. Hey Bella, I'm filming. Be quiet, okay? Alright. 2 new brass locks. Keyed the same. This whole window assembly comes out, and you can change bulbs and do whatever we need to with that. And get it back in there with one hand. This is the original smoke plexi. Underneath there is a piece of Lexan. New springs, new bulbs, nice tension to it, doesn't feel worn out. We decided to keep the original graphics even though they are cut. If they decide to change it, it's easy. Just take these 2 bolts out, and then the plastic, I was going to attach them together so that they wouldn't move, but they don't really move. With the spring pressure, they stay together, so I don't have a concern with them rubbing together. So just pull them apart, print a new graphic, cut it out to fit, put it back in there. Easy as pie. So let's open up the cabinet. There's my Ultravan right there. Side topic. There we go. I messed up the lens on one. Trying to clean it. Cleaned up the plexi on this. This is the original graphic. Originally, this actually printed out. It printed out cards, fortune cards. Well, it actually dispensed cards, and there's a slot in the door right here on a piece of smoke plexi. This is what was in here. I talked to the owner about possibly putting in a card dispenser. I found one on eBay for 75 bucks that prints out parking ticket cards. It dispenses them, it doesn't actually print them, but it did support RFID, which is cool. I don't really need it for this, but for 75 bucks it was a good deal. But that would be cool to be able to stack some old new stock, which I actually found old new stock fortune cards on eBay for $40 a box. The new brass lock there. Focus. Alright, let's try it again. So, didn't have creaky door. Didn't have time to redo this box. But what I did, this fender washer here, 1-inch washer, is just big enough. With this lever curved a little bit, hits it just right. I didn't have to fab anything for here, saved a little bit of time. And I have a free vent switch here now tied to that, and basically you flip that over and it stays like having the switch contacted. So it's gonna run it'll stay available. It'll stay on constantly. These bulbs stay on. But I did find out that if you try to trigger this before the relay turns off, it actually loses state on the relay, and the bulbs won't come on in the second cycle. So if I hit it again, no blink, no power. Now, if I do it, it has time to reset. That's the only caveat I found with the way that I wired it. So we're gonna do coin mode, run it through a cycle, let it reset. Let me grab a flashlight. Box on here, it's kind of in the way. So I've got a 2-gang box in here. The cord, heavy duty Stanley cord, goes into that socket. The other one's open. If we decide to add another one, you can always take that side off. It's a GFCI. Not that it'll ever be in a wet location. It's what I had, and it makes sense to have it in something like this, I think, anyway. If there ever is a situation where you're working on it and something spills in here, I don't think you would want to be drinking around it, but anyway. So we have plug here, we have power for the 12-volt pack, and then the light bulbs are separate. So you can just unplug that, and you don't have 110 volts thrown through the system, just unplug it. Okay, so over here, there's our 12-volt bus bar, so to speak. And then we've got our logic relays. The first one on the left over there controls the open state, start state of the selector motor up there, and also determines what power and when power is going to. The relay's loose. The other relay over there, the other relay works together with that relay, with that switch up there, to know what state they're both in. So as it is right now, neither one of those have power. Neither one of the relays are turned on. As soon as you short that, it turns on. Turns on this relay, and that sends power to the bar on the bottom, which runs power to the switch up here. Two different situations, and then this one backfeeds. So that in turn, if I can stop knocking this light over. So basically, these two switches control when you're in the ready state for the POM button, and when you are in an idle state waiting to vend. So once the credit has been satisfied, the motor will turn to this position. This switch will stop the output to the motor here until you press the POM button, which will flick this relay on, make it go past this switch. This switch then turns off this relay and resets for the next state when it gets here. And then at that point, the other side of this normally closed, actually normally open, goes to normally closed, and then it clears the state of the whole system. So when this motor is triggered, there's one wire. Basically, there's one output to this, to both of the switch inputs, is this terminal here. So when this motor needs to be running over here, this contact is used. There's 12 volts on this side comes through, and I'm using that here So this wire is used, so this terminal on the relay is used for the actual vending cycle or action cycle. And not only is it turning the motor brake on, which turns the motor when you lose power here, the motor brake stops the motor in the position it's in. It doesn't let it idle down. It actually just stops. So it goes from switch to switch and stops on each switch. I'm also grabbing it here to turn this solid state relay on and off, which gives me dry contacts because I don't have any dry contacts over here for the 12 volt activation of the relay, delay relay box that I have over here in this box. And that has a timer on it, so when this is triggered, it turns the relay on, provides 110 volts to the bottom switch circuit here that goes up and to each bulb for each one of those green wires. So as it runs around, it flicks each bulb on, and then when it stops, based on the timing of this motor to go around to the end state, then it stops. I swear, that light. When that stops, then the relay is turned off based on this contact being cleared here from this relay. Then it says, oh, well, it turned off, so I'm going to wait now for X amount of time before I turn off the output relay. So that gives us the light staying on after the motor stops turning. So that's it in a nutshell. It works. There's my handiwork. All of the bulbs are in parallel, and I added a connector, 8-position connector there. 4 are in use. We have 4 more if they're ever needed. 2 are the palm switch. The other 2 are positive, negative 12 volt for the lighting. Creaky door. Pretty cool. So, let me grab a quarter out and we'll run it through a cycle with the door open. If I can do it. Alright, open. Alright, here we go. Point in. That's going to be in the way. You're not going to be able to see in here. Maybe that will help some. Okay. Coin is in. Alright, here we go. Switches. Both switches are currently open. The selector is in between them. The relay is not on for the dry contacts for the bulbs, and the selection motor is not running. But since that relay currently has power on it, I have 12 volts coming to the lights. So when I push this, the left relay will shut off, the right relay will come on. The relay click off for the bulbs. So let's do it again, and we'll look at the outside. It's ready to go. There we go. Well, this has been a fun project. It's ready to go back. That box is too long to fit in there. It's cardboard and duct tape, but that's what was in there. So that's what's gonna be there. Alright, get in there. There we go. pretty cool. Alright guys, well thanks for hanging out with me while we were working on this project, and see you on the next one. Should be interesting. I think I have an idea of what I'm going to work on, but you'll find out in a little bit.